want you to see the actual Greek definition of this of the word, the porneia, right? This particular word,
Yeah.
because I think it's good for us to just look
Yeah,
at it and see.
I looked it up.
Okay, okay.
Right?
So
I
so
think
so
yeah,
so
I
here's the
looked it
word,
up.
right? Okay, so as you can see, it's a feminine noun, right? And here's the
Yeah.
definition: illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual. This are it's used for most in different contexts for different passages, right? Like I guess in Leviticus 18, it's used for sexual intercourse with close relatives. In Mark 10:11, it's used for sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman. You know,
Right.
so the point I'm making is, this is a word that is just used interchangeably for sexual immorality. Like it's a word that's it's an open word for any kind of sexual immorality, right? Then I think the other word might be more related to adultery alone. But
Right.
this.
But that is the point though. But that is the point. That is the point, Joel.
Yes.
Because if there is a specific word to be
Oh, by the way,
used
I'm
when
sorry,
it's in
guys.
marriage.
I don't think
Yeah, you thought you were
I
sharing, you were not
exactly.
sharing.
I thought I was sharing it. Sorry, guys. I thought I was
No,
sharing it just now.
but Joel,
Yeah.
I think this is where we find our answer. Because if there is actually a specific word that defines this thing in the context of marriage, why would that word not be used when God is addressing husband and wife?
I mean,
Fair.
in what sense? I don't. Yeah,
Matthew
say that again.
19.
In Matthew 19,
Uh-huh.
if God is addressing the situation as it pertains to marriage, married people, and we know there is a specific Greek word that deals with it in relation to marriage, which is
Yes.
moikao. We have
Yeah.
confirmed that, right?
Okay.
There's not, instead of the catch all, there is a
Yeah.
specific word that deals with sexual immorality as it
Yeah.
pertains to married
Yeah.
people. It is
Yeah.
called moikao,
Yeah.
right? Why does Jesus use the catch all instead of moekau, which is
Well,
very specific
well,
for the
well, wait,
use
well,
of
well,
married
here's the
people?
thing. Well, here's the thing, though. The initial word, right? The porneia, right? It's
It's a
not
catch
specific.
all.
Yes, it's a catch-all, right? But here's the thing. He uses the word when you, however you say the word, right? In the final part of the passage.
Yeah, but
So,
no. But notice he's using that word in the final part of the passage
yeah,
to define what happens afterwards.
yeah,
He
yeah.
says,
So,
if after you leave a married person, you now go and marry another, now you are in adultery.
yeah.
That is a difference.
Okay. So, so,
So
so,
he's specifying the differences even within that Matthew 19, that this particular one is adultery. When you leave your wife and you go marry another person, now you're in adultery specifically. But the former one, he uses porneia, which
okay.
means there is a difference in what happens here and what happens here. Because that woman, if it was adultery she committed, if they were already married, then whatever she did is more cow. It's
Yeah.
adultery.
Okay. So first of all, okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but I think you're taking leaps that I'm not willing to take with you, because here,
No, now,
I,
Joel. No, now,
I'm
is
not
what
willing
the
to.
word is saying
No,
now.
bro. I'm
No.
not. Okay, hold on. Because you're making assumptions about how their language at the time would have been structured, right? And how Christ chooses to say something. But let's look at what he says, because I
Okay,
think what he
sure.
actually says helps us see why something may be a certain way. Now,
Okay.
when you look at that verse, so it says, so look at verse 8. It says, and he said to them, because of the hardness of your heart, Moses allowed you to
Yeah. A
divorce
writing of
your
divorcement. Yeah.
your wives. It says, from the beginning, it was not so. Now, verse 9. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for Porneia, right? It says,
Sure. Yeah.
and marries another, it says, then commits, and then he goes on to say this thing, right?
Right.
So the idea is this. The initial thing is this, and I think we got to understand the act of let's say the person commits a sexual sin with somebody in any way, right? It is the act of doing a sexual sin. For example, now this passage could have really just said, and I want to think about this in today's modern world, right? It says, and I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, now just imagine this, except for pornography, and marries another, commits adultery. So the point is this: he's saying, because guess what? When somebody's looking at pornography, they might not see pornography as adultery. But it's a sexual sin. right? Because like, well, I didn't do this. Any sexual sin fits under this word. Any sexual sin
Okay,
fits
so
under this word.
let me
And
clarify
then,
something.
and then he's now talking about, what happens with a married person when they now remarry to somebody else. So they now marry, then they are now living a life of adultery.
Adultery, sure. But so let me ask this question then.
Yes.
Maybe this will help me clarify.
Okay.
Because if you are talking about divorcing a wife,
I can see all the people in the comments that are loving you. Talk, bro. Lift your hands. He always
if brother chosen is a troublemaker. you have to be wary of praise from brother chosen. But I appreciate it. No, but I think where I'm getting at is this, though. Because let's take, for example, I'm glad you brought that example.
Yes.
Let's take, for example, pornography.
Yes.
Pornography is adultery.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, so why would Jesus decide to use a different word, knowing that he also has the use of the word adultery, which he later uses, right? Because if everything that happens after marriage is that moekau,
but
right,
brother,
because the word has that power, the
brother,
word covers that.
brother,
Any sin, any sexual sin of a married person.
You know that pornography is adultery. You know that. The average person, the average man that is watching pornography today does not know that.
Okay,
so
but no, but the Bible is clear now. The Bible says if you lust after another woman,
brother,
it's there.
yes.
It's
but
there.
but I want you to think about this. Who is Christ speaking to? He's speaking to Pharisee men.
Yeah, but no, those people were knowledgeable in the word. No,
yeah,
Joel,
brother,
they were knowledgeable in the word.
Hold on. Men will make excuses for their sin. Because guess what? All I did was just touch her a little bit. I didn't really sleep with her. Remember, Christ had to come and tell us that it's not just about doing the act. It's about lusting after a woman.
It's about the thoughts.
Exactly, right?
But so then he uses the word moekau.
I understand. But here's what he's saying, though, because I think there's something he's saying here that's missing. He's saying you cannot justify yourself with any sin, with any sexual sin. Any sexual sin fits under this. So he uses a word that covers every sexual sin. We today now know that, it's adultery. But they might not have fully understood that. Because that's why Christ had to come and even tell us every sexual sin that you do fits under this
this umbrella. Including adultery. Sure.
Including adultery, whatever you want to call it, fits under this umbrella. And that is what that word is. That word fits every sexual sin under this umbrella. And that is it. Then he now shows them, and thereby you are now living an adulterous life. So now they're like, oh man, okay, so every sexual, so it's clearer. Because remember, this is what Christ even comes and teaches the people this thing. He comes to teach the people this thing that, hey, listen, because if they already knew that lusting after a woman in their heart was adultery, they would not have done it. And if you think about it, right, if today Christ had never said that, we would be arguing about it right now. It'd be like, well, listen, you did not actually touch her. Somebody would tell me, well, I didn't touch her. All I did was watch porn.
But no, Joel, that's not a good example because Jesus himself clarified.
No. I understand.
I get your point. I'm understanding your point because when you have a catch-all, it covers anything and everything, right? So you don't have any excuse to say
exactly. You can't say, well, hey, listen, all I did was just touch her butt.
Yeah, but Joel, this creates a big difference.
It does not. It does not create problems.
Wait. No, it does. Joel, it does. Because if you are using this notion that it is after, I'm going to say after blessing, after the blessing of the marriage, that means that anybody has a right to divorce.
So
at any point,
okay. So
on any cause that is sexual related.
Okay. So first of all, right. I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that anybody has a cause. No. That's not what I'm talking about. Right? Because
sorry, can we clarify one point? It is only the husband that can divorce.
No. By the way, that's not even the point I'm making.
but let's add down just to make sure that we are treading right. Okay.
That is what the Bible says. But I know some of our women will be stoning me right now with their.
But we have to stay with the word. Okay. Why are you drinking your tea at this time, Russell? It's a bad time to be drinking tea. It's bad timing.
Strictly.
You-
Okay.